I have noted the resignation today of Ms. Bliss Seepersad from her position as chairperson of the Police Service Commission. This is something I have been calling for repeatedly for more than a week now. I have said that it has to happen, it must happen, and there was no way that this could have stood. It was not only something that appeared to be a direct affront to the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, because Section 122 of the Constitution provides that there shall be a Police Service Commission which comprises of a chairman and 4 other members. It is not only laughable but a palpable farce to have sought to foist that on the public of Trinidad and Tobago with one person remaining on an entirely disgraced commission and say that you are going to just try to get other members to populate the commission and try to keep it standing. There's no way that could have, stood, and it would have also been an insult to the population of Trinidad and Tobago, and it would have, sought to damage the credibility of the institution even more. So it had to happen, and finally it has occurred. So we have to look at ways of moving forward as a nation to learn the lessons from this entire imbroglio and debacle which has bedeviled the nation for the last few weeks. We have been through a series of twists and turns only to end up in one conundrum after another. And we need to seek to emerge from this bigger, better, and stronger than before. It therefore means that we need to move with a certain sense of maturity and decorum, both as members of the government and members of the opposition, as we try to resolve this issue without the recriminations and pointing of fingers and casting of blame, or the political partisanship which so bedevils our political landscape here in Trinidad and Tobago. We need also to be mindful of what the requirements of the Constitution are in choosing the members of the Police Service Commission going forward. You must have persons who are qualified in the areas of law, finance, sociology, management. Those are some of the areas that are specifically set out in the Constitution, and one would recall the Privy Council case of which Reginald Dumas filed against the PSC, where he had challenged the membership and composition of 2 previous members of the Police Service Commission on the basis of them not fitting into these categories. So let's learn from the lessons of history, let's learn from the lessons of law, and let us ensure that this time we get the process right. In that regard, I would think that the nomination, which is said to be before the House at this point, is one that ought to be looked at with the greatest of concern and scrutiny. And this in no way casts any aspersions whatsoever on the candidate, because he is someone that I know from in the police service has had an impeccable career and record. However, the issue of putting a former police officer, a former acting deputy commissioner of police, a former person who had spent several decades within the bosom and the belly of the police service, ought to raise concerns for anyone, particularly persons who would be now vying and contending for appointment to positions as commissioner or deputy commissioner of police. There's the issue of all types of baggage or past issues that can come up, so it doesn't seem to be the right step, and I urge the government to reconsider that particular nomination, and the opposition also, I urge them to look at it with the greatest of scrutiny, and let's all do the right thing for Trinidad and Tobago and not end up impaling ourselves on the horns of another dilemma.